If you, like me, started playing Red Dead Online after the summer update of 2020, you will likely spared the initial disappointment upon the release of the Naturalist. However, I got my fair share of it a little later on, because I fell for the cool looking advertisement of the role and ended up picking it as my very first one. Hunting legendary animals was my favorite side activity in story mode, and collecting the stylish rewards gave me a feeling of accomplishment with every set I completed. It was plain and simple fun, and I wanted more of it. The approach Rockstar took on the Naturalist was a bit risky, and sadly they stepped into a big pile of dung along the way. But let me start off with the more well-done aspects of this role, because they do exist, and then propose my ideas for changes afterwards. The Naturalist role introduced two new characters, Harriet Davenport and Gus McMillan, two rivaling parties on your Wild West journey. You meet them in the Strawberry Hotel and immediately become witness to their hatred for each other, with Harriet wanting to study and protect animals, undoubtedly ranking them above all human life, and on the other side Gus, who makes a living off of hunting and selling coats made from hides. The dispute is prominent throughout many aspects of the game once you start the Naturalist role, and it even carries over into dialogue from other NPCs in your character's life, such as Madame Nazar or Cripps. Not only will these two characters be remembered by you, but word about them also seems to have traveled on its own. These two characters are well established in the world, which lays a good foundation for the role. On your travels you will be able to meet them in various locations, giving you two more places to interact and make business with. The role adds a decent amount of random hunting events occurring depending on your location, the time and the weather. Additionally to that, Harriet also offers hunting quests, animal rescues, and the random community events can give you even more legendary animal probes that you can't get anywhere else. Meanwhile, Gus is working to provide you with trophy codes to present to your peers. I like that the game gives you the choice between being a good person who focuses on non-lethal animal study, of being a trophy hunter, or playing both sides equally. And as a bonus, you can profit even more from the role if you take legendary carcasses to crypts to stock up your trading materials significantly. So far so good, so why does everyone hate this role so much? Well, Harriet is an insufferable psycho who drugs you because you defended yourself from being torn to shreds by wolves or bears, or because your horse accidentally ran over a rodent. She charges you gold bars for the ability to trip on some plants you discovered, allowing you to turn into an animal for a few minutes, but without the ability to move freely or cause any havoc at all. Gus has a terribly limited skill set when it comes to sewing, making essentially the same coat out of everything you give him, which wouldn't be so bad had we not met a very skilled trapper prior to Gus. Some legendary animals are impossible to find no matter how hard you try, even with the help of guides. It seems sheer impossible to complete some of the legendary probe sets. Keep in mind, it's also incredibly time consuming due to the night and day dynamic weather cycle in the game. You can't simply rest until you arrive at the right time to go hunting. You have to wait until the right time comes around. I honestly can't blame anyone for giving up on completing the blood sample sets. All in all, it's a role that's conceptually fitting and cool, but the execution is tiresome, exhausting, and so time consuming. To put it simply, it's just bad. However, regardless of all of its flaws, I have poured hours upon hours into the role, and it has given me a lot of time to think of big and small improvements to existing systems and making up entire new ones that might be able to fix all of it. And of course, if you have any more ideas, I would love to hear about them in the comments. Gus as the hunting specialist. Gus is a pretty interesting guy, and I think he should be getting a more prominent role in the game. How about an update that gives him unique hunting quests that you simply cannot get at Harriet's? Along with that, he could help you to broaden your arsenal, giving you one-of-a-kind items, be it certain bullets for hunting large animals, or some trinkets that award you buffs to make hunting a little bit easier, or your approach a little different depending on the animal. Such things could be clothing that helps camouflage you, or an item that reduces the chances of being attacked by a pack of wolves, for example. How about a throwable slab of meat to distract them, and perhaps he could sell a knife that shortens the skinning animations, making it your choice to see them or not. There are many more things that could be added to the game to make hunting a little bit more interesting, a little bit more versatile, and just to add in a bit of a new flavor to it. Taxidermy as a role expansion. A second function I could imagine for Gus, but also for Cripps, would be for him to refer you to a taxidermist. Gus clearly has some experience in it, as you can tell by the hooded animal coats he makes, but I think it would be fun to have a separate character to add more activities to the role. My dream for this would be to start a business partnership with the taxidermist of Strawberry. If you completed her questline in the story mode, you will have seen her basement full of creative animal scenes that she has set up. And that's what I would love to do as well. But not only that, I would go crazy over a sort of mini game where you can create a scene with the animals you have hunted. This new business could finally make use of even the smallest of critters as well. Even though a taxidermist works with dead animals, I think it would be nice to have a non-lethal weapon they could introduce. Perhaps a sort of pea shooter that comes with low concentration sedatives, so you could still pick and choose who to donate your stuff to. Additionally, if our characters were ever given the chance to move into a home, it would be fun if you could place your stuffed animal creations in them, or in the meantime your moonshine shack. Role overlapping is so important in my opinion, not just because it's fun as a player, but it also makes people more likely to spend their gold on the roles, and thus keeps the player base busy and the game active. They have already done a great job with these kinds of overlaps in the past, however I would love to see even more of it. It just adds to your character's life and relationships with the NPCs in the world, and it makes it all feel like a fluid and more complete experience. Harriet as the drug specialist. For Harriet, I think a key change that needs to happen is progression in your relationship with her. The more you visit and work with her, the less likely she should become to drug you. I don't know why this wasn't part of it from the start. Getting sprayed the first time was a memorable moment, but after that it just became a fatal flaw in the player experience. Not only because it interrupts your play flow, but it's also a very leading mechanic in a role that appears to give you so much choice. You either ignore her entirely but miss out on legendary animals, or you get slapped across the face for playing all that the role has to offer, which isn't too much to begin with. Her behavior has made it so that no matter how you play the role, you will get punished. And that sucks, especially considering how expensive this role is to unlock. Another idea to make the role worth the gold would be to make Harriet a full-on herbalist. They have touched on it by making her discover a new plant that she uses to create drugs, which is actually cool and can open so many possibilities. Rockstar could introduce new toxic plants and updates that you'd help discover for Harriet, and from those plants you could end up with new potions and toxic weapons for your arsenal. There are already poison arrows, but their effect is so slow you don't even notice a difference in enemy behavior. So how about some sleep-inducing arrows, drugging arrows that make enemies attack each other, or snake poison arrows that take a few seconds to take effect but will make enemies blood clot up. I know that's very cruel, but I think it would be on brand for her. And moving on from drugs as a weapon, how about drugs for fun? That worked in GTA 5, and I think it would work here as well. Why not introduce the much requested horde mode that way? It could be triggered by ingesting one of Harriet's drugs, and they could even expand on it with different horde modes caused by different drugs, for example zombies or animal hordes and so on. Some more and kind of random ideas. As I keep repeating in my videos, I think the online version of the game should take itself a little less serious and give us more silly fun. When you track animals, you generally come across and inspect their poop. What if we could collect some of it and use it as a throwable weapon? I'm sure this could come in handy to confuse your enemies or annoy your friends. The ability to turn into animals is a fun concept, but would need a lot more work done to actually be of use or worth investing in it at all. Not only is the number of animals very limited, but all of it lacks interaction. All you can do is walk around basically. If this got an overhaul, I believe it could become an enjoyable thing to do every now and then. And last but not least, as always, I have some ideas for customization. For clothing, I would love to see embroidered flowers and animal designs on basically everything. They could add headwear such as flowers or flower and plant crowns, things made out of bones or antlers, or even just a cigarette poking out from behind your ear. Belts could have a bloody piece of cloth hanging from your belt for those who prefer hunting to sedation, or they could be decorated with little poison bottle straps. I could also imagine hairstyles inspired by Harriet's, you know, the messy but not ugly ones. New saddles that have details such as a small bag or baskets for herbs, or a bloody blanket. And your horses could get flowery decorations for their manes or their tails. There's honestly so much you could do with this role, it's almost driving me insane. But that's all I have for now. These ideas sat on my PC for a little while because I stopped playing Red Dead Online as frequently as I used to do. I miss it though, and I still have hope for a better future of this game, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.